So in this video I'm going to teach you how to make a bobble. So I've done a little sample just here that we're going to work on as we make our bobble. So in the row it'll say to knit so many stitches and then MB, which means make bobble. So I'm just going to knit a few stitches in from my sample just here. There we go, so I'm about halfway along. So my next stitch here is the stitch I'm going to use to make my bobble. So first thing we want to do is make this one stitch into 4. So to do this, we're going to do a knit front and back, but do it a few times. So this is one of our basic increase stitches, but doing it a little bit differently to make one stitch into 4 rather than one stitch into 2. So I'll show you how we do that. So we start off like we usually would do and just knit into the stitch. So we put our yarn over and then I'm going to pull my yarn off, but I'm not going to take this loop off my left hand needle. So now we have 2 stitches and I'm going to then work into the back of this loop on the left hand needle to make the 3rd stitch. So we're going to keep this loop here and then I'm going to take my right hand needle and put it into the back loop. So through the back loop of that stitch again, yarn around needle, pull that through, still leaving this same loop on this needle, and now I've got 2 stitches here. Now I'm going to work through the front of this stitch, so taking my needle again and this time working it through the front, yarn around needle again, pulling it off, and I now have 3 stitches. You see we've got our 1 stitch here that we started with, and then we've got our 3 stitches we've made. So I need 1 more stitch. So again, in this same loop, I'm going to work through the back of it. Yarn around, pull through, and this time I'm going to slip my needle off that loop. And you can see here, I've got 4 stitches that have been made from that 1 stitch. So now I want to turn my work around. So I'm now on the back of my work, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to purl these 4 stitches. So purl 1, purl 2, 3 and 4. Then I'm going to turn my work again. So now I'm back on the right side of my work. And those same 4 stitches I'm now going to knit into. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And you can see our bobble is just starting to form. So I'm going to turn my work again. And then same again, I'm going to purl those 4 stitches. There we go, and then final turn. And now I'm happy with the amount of rows we've done. So now I'm going to turn these 4 stitches back into 1 stitch. So the way we're doing this is we're going to do 2 K2 togs. So K2 tog is one of our methods of decreasing a stitch. So I'm going to do 1. So I'm going to go in the 2nd stitch in. I'm going to put my needle through both stitches. So going from left to right through both stitches, yarn around needle, then pull those loops off, and that's made those 2 stitches into 1. And I'm going to do the same again with these 2. So needle through both stitches from left to right, yarn around needle, pull those 2 stitches off, and now I've got 2 stitches left on my right hand needle. So I'm going to take the 2nd stitch and I'm literally just going to pass it over the 1st. And that is our bobble complete. And then you will carry on the pattern and knit as many bobbles as needed. So I'm just going to knit to the end of the row here, and then you can see the bobble we've just made. And you can see it nicely just lifts up from the work, and there you go.